Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Cafe. This is your weekly refill where we take the time to savor the flavor of the week, which is a unique specialty blend of astrology, tarot, oracle cards, poetry, some creativity, and intuition as well. This week, our flavor of the week is a really pleasant one, y'all. It is joyful companionship, okay? I was excited to see this for this week. Sometimes the astrology, the energies can be difficult. Life can sometimes be difficult. And that's not to say that this week won't have its challenges or tensions or sandpaper moments, as I like to call them, for some of us. However, the overall opportunity, the area of focus that we can try to lean into or tap into is one of joyful companionship. So let's break down the ingredients that make up this unique flavor for the week. It starts with the astrology. We have three things, all dealing with the energy of Sagittarius. Okay, so Sagittarius is the ninth sign of the zodiac. It is the sign of the archer, the sign of the philosopher, and foreign travel, and global perspectives. And so here I have the archer, the bow and arrow. So it's about extending your reach, going beyond your local environment. And it's also, I represent it by the telescope as well. So if you haven't seen the Jupiter retrograde video where I talk about Mercury in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter and Gemini, you definitely want to check that out because the ruling planet of Sagittarius is Jupiter and the ruling planet of Gemini is Mercury. So those two planets are going to be in each other's home signs for several weeks, okay, and they're going to be opposing each other. Now, the first significant transit that we have happens on November 25th, which is that Mercury will be going retrograde in Sagittarius. So this is something I talk about in the Jupiter retrograde video, but it does speak to the possibility that our joyful companionship is with people from our past, people we've already had some kind of connection to, and it could suggest that there's a reconnection to those individuals, right? Now, this is not always the case for Mercury retrograde. I know a lot of people joke about the memes and the sort of stereotype of Mercury retrograde being a time when your exes come back. I'm not saying this because of that stereotype or that trend. It's really because of the tarot cards that are going to show up on the next slide. So when you see the tarot cards, or rather when I looked at the tarot cards, I coincided that to Mercury retrograde. I said, yeah, somebody somewhere is definitely going to have a reconnection with someone that they've known formerly or that they've previously known and maybe have lost touch with. Now, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is also, so it'll be a few weeks, it's also about reconsidering our philosophies, right? And so it's not just expanding our mind and exploring and discovering and having these larger philosophies and beliefs in life. It's also about wisdom and your faith in places of worship, right? So these larger institutions. Mercury going retrograde in this energy is helping us to recalibrate, to reconfigure, to revise, to evolve, to get back to some of the fundamentals that make up our larger belief systems, right? And seeing where have there been cracks? Have there been necessary updates, right? Or something out of code? Do we need to bring something up to code for present day? All sorts of things. But I actually appreciate retrograde energies, even though things can sort of be out of whack. It's not a good time to sign contracts and papers. We'll talk about that next week for sure, okay? But this week, I also just want to emphasize that retrograde energies, especially a Mercury retrograde, which happens at least 3 times a year, 2 to 3 times a year, is just rethinking stuff and saying, did I get that right the first time? Okay? So it's nothing to be scared of. Now, 2 days later, another significant aspect is that the sun, which is currently in Sagittarius, so happy birthday to all Sagittarius folks. My mom is a Sagittarius and her birthday is this week, so happy birthday, Mom. So on the 27th, the sun in Sagittarius trines Mars and Leo. So this is a fire trine. Fire, just like it sounds, is like hype, okay? It's fired up. So you have the sun, which is already fire. The sun rules Leo. It's trining Mars, which is also a planet of fire. So you have 2 fire planets, both in 2 fire signs, trining each other, okay? Because it's not like it's the moon, which is a very watery planet, or Neptune, which is a very watery planet, or Venus, which is a very earthy planet. These are two fire planets and two fire signs. And so this is where the joyful aspect of that companionship comes from, because a trine is typically an amplifying energy. It amplifies, it heightens, it hypes up things, and it can be a great opportunity, a blessing, or a luck of some sort, especially in a sign like Sagittarius, which is known for its luckiness. Now, I also want to say that when I named this joyful companionship, it was all of this Sagittarius goodness, all this Sagittarius energy that made me feel like it was a joyful companionship, that we'd really be able to, if we want, lean into or express the higher ideals of relationships, the higher ideals of partnerships and companionships. And with all this fire energy, especially this trine to Mars, because Mars is passion. So what I'm saying is I almost called this passionate companionship. I could have called this elevated companionship, so many things. But for me, the idea of joyful companionship can encompass all of those things. And so whatever constitutes as joyful for you, is it being able to frolic with your best friend? Is it being able to have deep conversations with your colleagues? Is it being able to be passionate physically with your partners, right? Or partner. And also just enjoying like the best of your own energy. So being able to go for a run, go for a swim, go to the beach. Mars is very physical, it's very active, okay? And the sun is that vitality, like that life force. So there's a lot of energy, like a lot of powerful, passionate, invigorating, vigorous energy here this week. And making a trine, it could be positive. Now, obviously, we have free will, although that is contested by some. I believe still that we have free will. So some people can choose to use these very powerful energies and turn them, kind of distort them, right? But for my crew, my brew crew here, we're going to leverage this intense, powerful energy, this solar-powered, fire-powered energy to like have a damn good week, okay? If you've been feeling sluggish, take this time to get your energy back up. If you've, kind of lost some passion for life or zest for a companionship or a relationship, this is the time to get that spark back, okay? Now, the last thing that I have for us on the 30th is very significant because it's a new moon. I love my new moons and my full moons. I am still in the process, this ongoing process of moving. And so I am prioritizing the weekly refills as well as the Tuesday tarot readings that unpack the weekly refills. And so I may not get to the monthly moon messages before the end of the year, but it's definitely a series I plan to start. I'm hoping that I can stay focused and not only do the refills and the tarot readings, but have extra time left over to do the monthly moon messages. And then 2025, once I'm settled into my new place, I want to bring y'all all the content, okay? Because I'm so eager to talk about this stuff and so eager to pull cards and so eager to just talk about dreams and the sky, the cosmos. So I look forward to having a settled place from which to do that, from which to create this content consistently. But I hope that the refills and the tarot readings are serving you well. Please let me know in the comments if this content, even though it's not all the content that I hope to bring, that it is valuable and worthy just in and of itself. Okay, that aside, the Sagittarius New Moon, this is a new fire moon. And so all the things I mentioned, right, about learning, higher learning, ideas, larger institutions, long distance travel or foreign travel, international travel, all of these things are wherever it is in your chart. This new moon is asking you to expand. It's giving you an opportunity or creating space in your life to level up, to advance, to evolve, to get deeper wisdom, to have deeper belief, to restructure the narrative, the underlying story in that area of your life. Also to grow, to expand, deepen that area of your life as well, okay? And this also makes me think that this Mercury retrograde and the person who this joyful companionship represents for us, or the people that this joyful companionship represents for us, could be very different in some way. They could literally be foreigners, but they could also just be people who expand our minds, people that we learn a lot from, people that we respect because of their wisdom and their knowledge. And you might be that person, right? Like you might be that person in this companionship or partnership for another person or the people around you. But the nature of this companionship is one of deeper, greater, more expansive exploration, curiosity, wanting to level up and self-actualize and say, this is all that I have been, and I'm going to take that and structure the next version of me. I'm going to take that content and see, how I can build on it and elevate myself. So these joyful companionships are not just frivolous with the Sagittarius energy. They are spaces. These companionships and partnerships are spaces, pockets of time where we learn, where we teach each other, where we understand our faith or see our beliefs reflected back to us, where we can explore inner and outer horizons, as I like to say, with the Café. Yeah, and then new moons, of course, as we say in every month, are an opportunity to plant a new intention. So you can look in your birth chart of where Sagittarius is, or you can simply set a more generic intention to learn something new, or to meet a new person who's very different from you, a stranger from a foreign land, or reconnect with someone who's moved away. Maybe it's reconnecting with people across long distances, or maybe setting the new intention to, create some more foundational structure for a particular part of your life. I think this is going to be buoyant energy. It can potentially feel overwhelming, right? So if you're already sort of high energy, this is going to heighten the energy. And so be mindful of that as well, that with all of this fire energy going on, especially with Mercury being retrograde too, and making these aspects to Jupiter, that you do want to drink your water. So fire, this much fire can increase chances of dehydration, right? So drink your water, pay attention for being overheated or for things around you to overheat. You also want to relax, create space and opportunity, plan for moments of rest so that you don't burn out, because you can just be running on this like fire high and like overexert. Okay. All right. Now, I mentioned that the tarot cards represented this week coincide with that Mercury retrograde energy. And so we got the Judgment, which is the past, also resurrection of the past, and the Two of Cups. That was the companionship piece. Well, one of the things that represented companionship. So not so much in the astrology as far as companionship, but then the cards came out and I got the companionship piece or aspect of the flavor for the week. And so Two of Cups with Judgment could very basically be the resurrection of a past relationship. It could be a return to a past version of a relationship. It could be the revival, the revitalization, the reawakening, the refresh or renewal of an existing relationship. Looking back at relationship patterns. Okay, so if it's not specifically a relationship or a person or some type of companionship, then it could be the pattern or the cycle, right? It could be a cycle that you've had in relationships in general. The good thing about the Judgment, though, is it is awakening. It is ascension, right? So whatever comes back, or if we revisit, if we go back down memory lane in some way, the Judgment is an opportunity. It creates space to learn a new lesson, to not repeat the same pattern, to forgive, Judgment. The Judgment card is often forgiveness. It is often the clean slate. It is often wiping the desk clear and starting fresh, starting anew. Okay? And I am cautious about this because so many people say, like, never go back to your ex. So I'm not really saying that you're going to go back to your ex, but you might learn something by reflecting on your relationship with your ex that increases the level of joy that you feel in new relationships. You see how that could work? It could be that you overcome, right? You overcome a past cycle, you overcome a past relationship that opens your heart, allows you to open your heart more to your present relationships so that you have more joyful companionship. So it's not always that these relationships come back and then we like reconnect with these people and we're friends or partners for life going forward. Sometimes it comes through because of that Sagittarius energy, greater wisdom, a new perspective, a new belief. And so I do feel that for a lot of us, where this could apply regardless of who we are, is that knowledge or those memories of those old relationships, of our old situations and collaborations, whatever they might be, we could come out better, right? We can see, sort of look back and reflect, like, I'm not who I was in those past relationships. I'm not who I was the last time we talked. I'm not the same person I was the last time I saw you, right? And so that could apply. And so that's regardless of like, oh, you're dating your ex again. That's not necessarily the scenario. Definitely not the advice. So I want to be clear about that. But there is an opportunity to learn from a past relationship, bare minimum, to learn from past cycles and relationships, and to step forward into a new chapter, a brand new chapter, having put that to rest, having buried those troubles and those wounded choices and all of that work, allowing you to have more joyful companionship in the present with whoever you're with or whoever you are spending your time with now. Yeah. Okay. Then the other card, this card came out, and it also speaks to joyful companionship, specifically past companions, past partners, past relationships. And it is from the Secret of the Ancestors Oracle deck, and it is Creature of Water, number 29, and it means creative expression. Now, Creature of Water, creative expression, you might say, what does this have to do with relationships and companionships? I'm going to read from the Oracle deck and let you discern for yourself. You'll start to connect the dots as I read. Creature of Water. Creative energy is all around you. Use your imagination to get unstuck. Follow your inspirations and allow your emotions to fuel your pursuits. Romantic or creative, your heart energy is blossoming. This is a time of heightened creativity with potential for breakthroughs. So we love that. This idealistic and compassionate animal spirit ancestor coming forward can be a good thing if there is something or someone you've been waiting for. But moving too fast can lead to recklessness. Pace yourself. You are obsessed in seeking fulfillment. You have the potential to get sloppy. Hasty decision-making can block your flow. Ancestral memory. The Creature of Water is the Akan animal spirit, the Sankofa heron bird. They came forward with the lucky energy of the Ghanaian goddess of the harvest, Asase Afua. Sankofa means we must go back to get it. Sankofa here is the animal spirit that connects the past, present, and future. Ancestral medicine. Take time to experience. Creature of Water saves us from ourselves with fairy tale knights in shining armor energy, saving the damsel in distress. Are you moving too fast to reap the benefits of your blessings? My child, how can you go back and reap your harvest? Shadow aspect. A relationship may be fizzling out or stagnant. You may be stuck in the past. Heartbreak and betrayal may be on the horizon. Tarot correspondence, Knight of Cups. Declaration, I am a creative force. So you can see there, the author herself names things like romantic or creative. Your heart energy is blossoming. She says a relationship may be fizzling out or stagnant. You may be stuck in the past. She talks about heartbreak. The tarot correspondence is the Knight of Cups. I've talked about the Knight of Cups in past refills months ago. I remember months ago the Knight of Cups came out several times in the refills, and it is the romantic gesture card. It is the romantic offer. Other things, it is creative pursuits. It is following your heart. It is expression. It's an expression of your soul, right? It's the artist's artistic expression of what's inside of you, okay? And that can come out through romantic expression as well. Picking flowers for someone, or sitting under the stars with someone and gazing at the sky, right? Like that's romantic, but it's also like artsy and dreamy, right? Now, the part about the past, so we have the Mercury Retrograde, which speaks to the past. We also have the Judgment card, which spoke to the past. And now in this deck, not only is this card associated with that Knight of Cups, love, offering energy, but it's also tied to the spirit animal, or the animal spirit, Sankofa, which means we must go back to get it. So we must go back to get a relationship for many of us, or we must go back to get the lesson that relationship taught us, okay? Sankofa here is the animal spirit that connects the past, the present, and the future. The past is always present. And if we don't acknowledge and address the past, it will show up again in our future. You know what I mean? So for some of you, you might have to apologize. There might be a need for reconciliation, for forgiveness, for taking the wisdom in the betrayal, taking the wisdom in the heartbreak. Okay, it could be a friend, a family member from the past, or again, simply the lesson of what that relationship experience taught you that can now be used to make your present companionships more joyful, more loving, more creative. I hope that makes sense. Let's get into our poetry and pastry. Our pastry and poetry. It is the phenomenal Janelle Monáe, okay, and red velvet cake. I was like, oh, Janelle Monáe? It's got to be red velvet cake. If you know, you know. So Janelle Monáe is a Sagittarius. I said I was going to do more poets or writers or artists that align with the season that we're in. So since we're in Sagittarius season, I wanted to feature a Sagittarius poet, and Janelle Monáe, born December 1st. And the poetry or the lyrics that I'm sharing for this delight is What an Experience. And this is a song that I can't play without copyright claims or strikes on my YouTube channel. So I'm just going to read the lyrics. Don't worry, I will not hurt your ears with me trying to sing. But I highly recommend listening to the song, feeling the song, feeling the vibe, okay? Because music changes the vibration. Anything that we hear, any sound, because sound is vibration. So sound affects the vibration of things around it. We can talk more about that later. But listen to the song. I highly recommend it. I might link to it in the description or in the comments. So the lyrics that I am pulling out that I really love from this, and that speak to the energy of Sankofa, that speak to the judgment energy, that past Mercury retrograde energy, right? She says, but the memories come home. Yeah, they do. It's funny how they come back with a song. Yeah, baby, I can't wait. This love is too strong. I can feel it all over. Love's too strong. I can feel it all over. And oh, what an experience. And I can really, really feel it. Oh, what an experience. Oh, can you really, really feel it? Oh, what an experience. Put your hand over my heart. That is joyful companionship. Joyful companionship with sweet memories, nostalgic memories, memories of what it felt like to feel free to love, memories of what it felt like to be in someone's company and not feel like we had to censor our emotions, not feel like we have to pretend like we don't feel things when we're in someone's company. So many things tied up into this joyful companionship, right? And maybe there were past relationships where you felt like you couldn't let yourself really, really feel it. I feel like there's more I want to say, but I'm feeling like this is good. Also, it's funny how they come back with a song. Let me know in the comments if a particular song transports you back to old relationships and the lessons. If there's a song that represents the lesson for you that you learned, that you took from that relationship, that has made you better in your current relationships, or that will make you better in your future relationships. Okay. All right, hour to go. Our takeaway is a question: who offers me joyful companionship? Who offers me joyful companionship? Take the time to reflect on it. Observe this week and beyond how you feel when you're talking to people, when you're messaging them, when you're thinking about them, when you're just simply in their presence. Do you feel that sense of joy? Do you feel that gush of emotion and love? Can you really, really feel it? Whether it's platonic, familial, agape love, romantic, passionate love, all the forms of love that exist. Who offers you that joyful companionship? With that, my dears, I hope that this has helped you in some way to refill your spiritual cup, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to check out the Tuesday tarot reading if you want to unpack this theme even further. Much love.